Welcome to Gameday716. We are here with Todd, Noah, and Paul. Gameday CJ, we expect to join us at some point, but we're working on it and seeing what he's up to. The so far, happy almost Thanksgiving. We're a couple weeks.
Yes.
Merry almost decoration Christmas time. Um, so I'm all pumped because that's how it goes. We're gonna go a little different today. So you saw in the beginning, bye bye from Josh to Miami, and we did not get that from the Bills and the Jaguars last weekend. So there's been plenty of discussion about the Bills and the Jags over the last week in Bills Twitter, in Bills land, in Bills podcasts and YouTubes. So we're not going to beat that to death. We're just going to talk about it a little bit here and there. We're going to start with that, and then we are going to hop into more of a preview of tomorrow's game against the Jets and talk about how, just like the Jaguars, the Jets are not a challenge and there's nothing to worry about. So,
Hey, I think half the problem last week was that everybody was saying the Bills were going to just demolish the Jaguars. So I'm going to say it's going to be a competitive game, even if I don't believe it.
That's the spirit. So we're here. We're live. It's a beautiful Saturday night. We had some snow today. Our first real snow in Buffalo.
Yes,
actually rather great because I like the snow. I bought a snow blower. Isn't that fantastic? So I'm not hiring someone to plow my driveway, and I'm not buying a brand new snowblower at $1,500. So bought a used one. I'm very happy about it. Hopefully it works. I mean, I saw it work, but hopefully it actually works.
I'm glad you didn't buy a broken snowblower.
Yeah. But did you see the comment? Just so you guys see the comment. I don't know who needs to fix that.
I got it.
Okay.
Only on my phone. It shows that it's on YouTube. I'm looking.
Okay. So we'll keep
I'll figure it out while you go.
Yep. So let's talk Bills versus Jaguars. The Bills came out and lost 9-6. 9-6, right? Yep. Okay. 9-6. Tyler Bass, left eye Tyler, was the player of the game for the Bills, I think. Paul, you're either frozen or doing an amazing job at not. You did an amazing job at
not moving.
That was impressive.
Incredible, right?
Yeah. It is streaming to YouTube, so
yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. So I'm not sure what the problem is. Yeah,
we're seeing the same thing across the board. So Mom, I'm sure you can get it going somehow. Maybe, hopefully. But anyway, so Bills Jaguars, not Jaguars, just for all those out there. 9-6.
The Jaguars.
Don't do it, man. Don't get me going.
Yep. So the game was 9-6. It was not.
It was not good. It was not good. The Bills did not look good in really any. Well, they gave up
CJ's here.
They gave up 9 points.
Let's go, CJ.
Bills Jags just started.
Bills Jags.
Bills Jags just started. I've said the score was 9-6
at least
four
four
times. And that's where we're
So
at right
now
now.
we're on to 5. Can we make it 6? We'll
Yeah,
find
the
out.
score was 9-6.
There it is. We made it 6.
So I just wanted to have as many points as the Bills. And the offense was the problem. The defense held the Jaguars to 9 points. There's not a ton for us to talk about on the defense. I don't know if we all agree with that, but that's where I'm
the
at.
defense, yeah, I'm in agreement with you. The defense is not the problem at all. And honestly, I don't think that there's really a problem because as we saw over the last 6 days since the fallout of Bills Jags, this happens to good teams. And
Yeah.
it's not going to be the last time a good team gets, shut up by a bad team this season.
Yeah.
I don't think
the Ravens lost to Miami.
Ravens
So-
lost to Miami. That's what Paul is referencing.
I probably should have mentioned specifics. Thank you.
I thought I'd
for
just make it really clear.
So
I mean,
Lamar
and
Jackson
that week as well.
came
Week
down.
9 was a weird week.
Mhm.
I mean, we were right.
Mhm.
Dallas lost to Denver.
You said it best. You sent out a tweet saying that the NFL was drunk, and that couldn't be more spot on.
Yeah,
It's how the whole
we'll just
week
go with
seemed to
it.
be.
The NFL was drunk
Yeah.
last weekend,
Yeah.
but that doesn't
And on
let the
Thursday.
Bills off the hook.
Right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
It
because you still got
because
to.
they
your
could have
offense
taken
is better than that.
a big step forward with where they were at, and they did not.
Yeah.
The Ravens losing is huge for the Bills.
Because it wasn't a significant step back. So we're kind of just
Right.
like at this even keel. We have to take care of business tomorrow, though. I think that's going to be something we're all in agreement about. There's no if
Yeah,
and
we'll get
buts
to the
because the
Jets
sky
game.
will be falling.
Let's focus on the Jags and the 9-6 loss. So let's focus on that. So what went wrong?
I mean, I think the one thing that stands out to most of me was offensive line play. I mean, there were multiple instances, and people want to put this on Josh because it's his team, but this really wasn't on Josh. I mean, he still had a great day.
Breaking news. Helen
What?
Keller just texted me and said she saw that the offensive line was horrible too.
Whoa, man.
Carry on.
That moving on.
I'll be punished for that in a little bit.
Nobody was handling their blocks. You had the other Josh Allen have an amazing day, an interception, a forced fumble, multiple sacks. It felt like, I mean, our Josh Allen had split second to make a decision, and there isn't one QB in the world who can read the field, read the defense, and make his decision in the amount of time that Josh had. It's
The amount of times that pressure came in
Which one?
untouched, like completely untouched.
No,
Mind
I
blowing.
mean, which you said there's one QB.
I said
in the
there
world.
isn't any QB in the world. Oh,
Brady.
there
zero
isn't one
QBs.
QB in the world.
Brady.
That was a pretty awful joke. I will admit it. I probably should have went with Stevie Wonder. That probably would have been a little bit more.
No.
No, not that either. Close
No.
my eyes and still see the offensive line was horrible. Yeah, that should have went with that.
Yeah.
Third time was
Yeah,
the charm.
well,
Turn the
I got
TV
there.
off. Turn the TV off, and you could still see it.
Yeah,
That kind of
I
thing.
could have went lots of ways with that.
Yep. So, all right, back to where we were.
Offensive line, Jaguars,
Offensive
Josh
line.
Allen running for his life. Like
Yeah,
it's,
I mean, I think this also comes on to Bean. I mean, you re-signed everybody when it was an issue going into the offseason anyway. And then you bring in Jameel Douglas and Bobby Hart as your competition. I mean, we're stuck with
hey,
this group
current
now.
NFL starter
but-
Bobby Hart. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
and he was terrible.
Yeah, he absolutely was. He was a trash can.
He was a turnstile, which he was for us during the.
Let me pose a question to you guys because we're just going to take one piece because usually like teams say that they were a piece away. Usually we talk about an overall season like, hey, they added a particular piece they were missing and it's going to take them to the next level. Using that mindset with the Bills Jags game, Do you think that if Spencer Brown had started last week, does that
Yes.
game go differently?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah, I think it's a completely different game. It might not be 35 to 9 or anything,
And
but
that also makes me mad.
yeah, because
The
he's a
fact that
rookie.
Spencer Brown could have changed that game because
Yeah.
Darrell Williams is supposed to be able to slide between guard and tackle, no problem. And he was awful. I mean, it seemed like there was no line communication. Their only good lineman was Morse, and you can only run behind the center so often.
Well, I don't know if you noticed,
And
but
we've talked
at
about
one
that
point,
all year. I mean,
Cody Ford went to go pass off a lineman to Mitch Morse and then leaves his back to other defensive end who comes in untouched right behind him. And what he's supposed to do in that situation is pass off to the center and then reset your feet and watch for the edge rusher coming in. And like he acted like he didn't even know that there was a second part to his job half the night. It was
Cody Ford
awful.
was a mess. I mean, the left side of the line was a mess.
Mhm.
Dawkins had guys running around him in circles. I don't know. Butker seemed okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if we were talking about anyone, we would have Butker and Morse as the two linemen who actually did all right. The Bills still did not make an attempt to run the ball except with Josh.
I mean, they couldn't either.
Yeah,
It's not like they tried to; they couldn't. And once again, we're sitting here saying, man, they really got to get the run game going. I feel like we've said that at least 6 times this year.
well, I mean, and that's a problem on coaching. I mean, I mean, like you said, we've said it 6 times. When are they going to do it? I mean, they did it in the first 2 games, and it really didn't work out. But I mean, it seems like all of their planned runs are with Josh. To me,
It's because it's the most effective. Unfortunately, I mean, it shouldn't be, but it is.
I agree. So, anything else we want to touch on? The Jaguars kicker is terrible, and he's still.
Can we just highlight this comment because this might be the best comment of the entire week? And it might not even be a close second. Watched game on Red Zone because I had no other choice and kept wondering why they were not showing anything from Bill's game. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for that.
We sat there watching, wondering what Bill's team this is.
Yeah, I think we all did. But as we saw, it's what happens in the league. It happens every year. Like the Bucs last year got trounced by the Saints. It was a ridiculous score. Every year it tends to happen. So it's when it happens back to back. And since Sean McDermott's first year as Bills head coach, we haven't seen back to back horrible games. Like there was that stretch in the 2017 season where it was like Saints, Chargers, Ravens maybe, and it was like got punched in the mouth 3 weeks in a row. Still ended up making the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor that year, which goes to show that having a bad game doesn't necessarily end your season. It happens.
Worst Bills game in Josh Allen era. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think that's
No. I'm saying, which one do you think? Because what sticks out to me in my head is Baltimore.
The first season,
and
the
then
one where when
Chargers.
he went in for the one where he went in for Peterman after like 4 interceptions in 6 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
I think Peterman started for the Chargers game.
Do we think that the 2017 offensive line was better than what we saw last week? I do.
Yeah.
I don't even remember half the guys that were on the line that year. I'm still saying it was better.
Relevant?
Well, CJ was comparing bad games and having his worst game back in 2017 with an offensive line that I'd say was better than the offensive line that they rolled out last week. And despite having a better offensive line in that Baltimore game he's referencing, Josh Allen played horribly. But again, rookie season. So really the only relevancy to my statement is that connecting the dots between that Baltimore game back in 2017 and the Jags game last week.
Yeah, I mean, in 2017, Robert Foster was your number one receiver.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it.
He's not even in the league right now. So, I mean, there's a lot where we could do comparisons between the 2017 roster and this roster. But, I mean, there's just a
Skinner scored again.
My point was just that this game obviously sticks out like one of those games, and it's just that and since he's been around, there hasn't been that many games like that.
Yeah,
and you always kind of after my proclamation of saying that I was 100% Josh Allen last week or 2 weeks ago, that kind of bit me, and then he does that, and I was still at the end of the game there. I'm still like, okay, he's got this. It gotten to a point where you've seen him make these plays at the end of the games where he'll win a game or late drive that'll win him the game. And he's done it plenty of times, and it's just like you were expecting that there. Final play was a little bit weird to me, but I don't know, what was going on with that.
If not for Gabe Davis dropping that ball on second down, where Josh immediate pressure kind of rolls out to his left, takes a couple steps forward, just dumps it off to Gabriel Davis, who's got a guy trailing him by maybe 1.5 yards behind him, hits him right in the hands and drops to the ground. So while I understand what you're saying, right? Like what you're saying in theory makes a lot of sense to me. I think, though, if we were to come up with a tier ranking of who's at fault for the Bills' offense being inept last week, Josh Allen isn't even in the top 3 for me. And then maybe that's just me, and maybe it's because I'm biased towards him. But
no, I'm not saying it was on him. I'm not saying it was on him. I'm just saying I've come to expect.
You expected it to.
You've come to expect it, though. And so my point was only that I wasn't worried even at that point. Yeah, I was worried.
Same. Even the last drive, I was like, all right.
Yeah,
this was going to suck. We're going to have to hear about how ugly of a win this was.
Right. And so for him not to come through, and now that's 2 weeks in a row, right, where he hasn't come through. And regardless if you say the offensive line or whatnot, I'd
give him the second half of the Miami game, because even though the first half
was
rocky.
Tennessee. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But even in
which
the
is not
game,
normal is all I'm saying, which is not what we've come to. So I think that's really what the issue is more than anything, is that we win those games. In recent, we've won those. You know what I mean? Like with him having the ball last, it's been pretty solid. He's won games in the fourth quarter plenty of times. So it just, when that happens, it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to say you question it. You know what I mean? Don't question him, because, we really don't want to be back and forth about whether you fully believe in him. You know what I mean? Once you believe, you can't really flip-flop.
Yeah, there's no going back.
But yeah, it's just, it makes you wonder, what happened there? Like why, what's the difference between every other time when he's been successful, basically?
There was a play in the second quarter where I actually thought maybe he got hurt, and obviously you can't tell, but because he's a warrior, he's going to go out and play and that kind of thing. But he stopped running. He stopped, his passes started being errant again. A lot of things like that seemed to happen, and he seemed to turn into Sugar Josh again. And that kind of thing.
Has anyone else noticed that he turns into that, like in recent memory, he only brings out that version of Josh Allen when the rest of the team is just non-existent. When it is literally, if the Bills are going to win this game, Josh Allen has to do all of it. He has to run, he has to pass. Hell, he might have to catch a couple balls too. And when he gets in those moments and he thinks that like his team, once the team starts dropping passes and letting them down and they're not converting in the red zone, wherever the case may be, as soon as the rest of the pieces on that offense cease to function at a high level, he reverts right back to that. And I wouldn't call it regression. I would call it, if all else fails, break glass, and I'm just going to put the cape on and try to do it myself. And
Ravens did the same thing with Lamar Jackson. I mean, they had to.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown had 5 drops in that game. Mark Andrews could not get open. And
there's not even a current Bill in the top 10 for separation so far this season.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that's shocking to me because they're like it's literally what they're supposed to all be about, right? Our entire wide receiving core are route runners, separators,
Right.
shifty guys that can move in space, find the soft parts of zones, and just let Josh Allen pick it apart. Nobody's getting open. And maybe it has a little bit to do with the offensive line play and the fact that Josh has to let go of the ball a little bit sooner than he has in previous games where he was more successful. So there's correlation there for sure, but man, plenty of blame to go around. And I'll tell you what, McDermott definitely didn't take this lightly. Everything that I've heard from him this week screams that we're going to see a fire under this team coming up on Sunday tomorrow. And
I think that's a good time to pivot to the Jets. So when everything we've heard, like you said, is that McDermott did not like sort of the way that the Bills went into the Jaguars game, thinking they were going to win, being fairly loose, all of that. Things we've heard are like there wasn't dancing at practice this week, that there were a lot more position meetings, and that McDermott was a lot more involved in the offense is something that I read, in the offensive play calling and like what the offense was planning to do. So, I mean, I think at this point, McDermott has put his trust in Frazier and might be questioning Dable. And
But I mean, the last time he questioned an offense and a coordinator, it was Frazier, and look at what they've done.
right.
So
Right.
yeah,
And Noah and I have had a really good talk about Leslie Frazier in the time when McDermott took over the play calling for Frazier, and we kind of think that became the moment that McDermott became head coach and Frazier took a step back and said,
I'm a coordinator.
Yeah. And we think Frazier kind of came in and thought he was going to usher in McDermott as the old guy and that kind of thing. And McDermott sort of took him down a notch pretty quickly.
yeah.
But so let's talk about Mike White. Do we have any fear of this guy?
He's played one game. I mean, cool. He had a 79% completion percentage and threw for whatever, a lot. But like why do we expect that to continue? I don't understand.
It's not.
I mean,
you know what? Perfect
I don't
segue
think
for
there's any
this.
reason
While
to be scared of
we
him.
talk about this, I've got my hot take for the Jets game that I'm gonna lay down here. By the way, 1.8 million Scovilles. So my hot sauce challenge take for this week is going to be that the Bills intercept Mike White at least 2 times in this game.
I mean, when he played the Bengals, he was intercepted twice. He makes bad decisions. The Bengals just couldn't take advantage of it. I mean, he got to 405 yards on 37 passes.
White is 26 and has been on 3 practice squads. So, I mean, we have to keep that in mind that he is not exactly that he's not exactly the the young phenom rookie coming out of nowhere. He's a lot more of a guy who had a good game, right? He could end up being like Ryan Fitzpatrick and maybe turning his career into something and becoming a solid backup and sort of a starter at some point, but for certain teams at certain points, but he doesn't seem like the type who's just going to take over a team and lead it.
I mean, when Zach Wilson is healthy, he's going to be the starter. I mean, it's. I think he just had a good game against the Bengals, but the Bengals also left a lot of opportunities defensively that the Bills should be able to pick off of. I mean, I expect the Bills. honestly, I expect this to be a turnover-heavy game. The Jets like to turn the ball over. If the Bills are able to take advantage of that, I mean, even if the offense can't really get it going, if you're getting that many turnovers and stopping the Jets like that, I mean, they're not going to be able to do anything. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
if the defense keeps being the number 1 rated defense in the NFL, I don't see how the Jets even move the ball.
Yeah, and that's going to be the tough part for the Jets is that they haven't faced a defense like Buffalo yet this season. This is the first time they're facing a defense of this caliber because there's no doubt that the Buffalo Bills defense is top 3 in the league. I'm drooling, so excuse me if I stumble over my words. Man, that's hot. Look at the veins sticking out of my forehead right now. So what was I saying? CJ, take it from there. CJ, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you're on mute, dude.
Got him.
I don't know where you were going with it anyways. How am I supposed to take over for you?
I don't know. Something about the Jets not facing this good of a defense.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, I don't know. I think that if White comes out and plays really good and even makes it a close game, they have to really question whether Wilson is, should start the rest of the year or you give that guy a look because Wilson will be on the team. That guy, you got to see if he's worth keeping but yeah, I mean, I think this game's just going to be the comeback game. You have a bad loss. I think they're just going to be ready to go. I think they're going to blow the doors off them. And,
I mean, they better be.
Yeah, they have to. Like, there's no excuse. Like, last week, you got away with the excuse of we took the game too lightly, right? Like, Micah Hyde even said, we didn't play our best ball. We didn't come out ready to play it. Cool. You can't use that 2 weeks in a row. You get if this is a 3-point game and the Bills win, I'm gonna be disappointed. If this is a 7-point game and the Bills win, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like, you should mop the floor with these guys, and there's no excuse because now you're not taking anybody lightly for the rest of the season. I want to see Cardinals game Bills this year, like from this point on.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the angry and locked in McDermott that we saw for the Chiefs game. Yeah. I mean, he was laser focused. It felt like just, wanting to win. And I feel like we haven't seen him look like that since that game.
Well, the second half of the Dolphins game, I felt like he was like that.
I kind of leave that as an outlier because I think that they were just mad like Josh was. And, cool that happened. But I'll say what I said for that game, which was it shouldn't have taken that for you guys to play that way.
Well, we can. So there's two things. We can't expect the Bills to be like a Pro Bowl team every second of every game, right? We know that the offensive line is bad. We know Feliciano, as much of a turnstile as he is better than Butker, and he's on the IR. So, I mean, there are things
minimum.
Right, 2 more weeks minimum, and that's the Jets and the Colts are scary, especially in their front four. So, I mean, that's something we have to take into consideration. And the Saints are scary in their front four as well. The thing that I'm very worried about with post-Jets that a lot of people really haven't been talking about is the 4-game stretch that comes after that. You have Colts, Saints, Patriots, Buccaneers.
Bucks. Yes.
Those games look a lot harder now, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
12. Yep. I think 20-12 combined record between those 4 teams.
Yeah. I've been saying that's going to be the toughest stretch in the season. So the whole time I've been saying those 4 games.
But you know what? Based on what we've seen the last 4 years, this is what's going to happen. We are going to, it would not shock me to see us absolutely destroy those teams and then pull out like a 5-point victory against the Jets this week. And then the next 4 weeks rattle off 4 straight 10+ point victories, just out of sheer randomness. Because it seems like, and Noah, you have said this emphatically, for weeks now, and I'm starting to buy into the hype. They need to stop playing down to their competition. It's almost like they go into the game thinking, this is a JV squad. So we don't got to put our best stuff on the field.
This is the Jags. We should win.
All the way
that was their mentality.
To coaching, all the way up to play calling. I feel like they're They're taking their foot off the gas because they feel like competition isn't as great. We want to save some stuff. And I think they did that in the beginning of the season. We called that out the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, thinking that they were going to do something a little bit different, really push the envelope when it came to that Chiefs game. And it happened. I think that they were doing something similar these last couple of weeks, and it bit them in the ass.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, you definitely saw Dable when they showed him in the room or upstairs or whatever. When they showed him, he wasn't happy with what was going on.
Yeah.
You could see, and to me, he looked a little confused. I mean, but you get a 3-second clip of the guy, so there's only so much you can take out of that. But
he took ownership this week during press conferences. He put the onus on himself. He said it starts. I mean, it's coach talk, but I really believe that he thinks that it's on him because it is. I mean, the game plan was awful for what the Jags were doing to us defensively. There were so many different things that they could have tried, and it just seemed like, hey, we're a better team, so eventually it'll just click. And we've seen it happen. But at a certain point, when it's not happening, you have to adjust. You have to. Even if you have a top 5 quarterback and you've got a top 5 defense, like sometimes you have to alter your game plan.
They scored with 11.8 seconds.
Oh, no. Moment of silence.
Sabres almost had him. So
almost. Dylan Cousins is that dude. Now back.
Yep.
Dell sucks. Anyway.
All their sports teams. I don't care what sport. All of them.
So I have a question based on what you said about holding back on plays and Dable taking responsibility or accountability or whatever for not playing, using the full playbook or whatever it is. So what didn't they do? What's there that they need to do? What do they need to do against the Jets?
I think the Jets and the Jags are a little bit different of defense.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll let CJ start. CJ, what would
they just need to not overlook? They just need to not overlook them. That's all. They come out, they take the team as a serious NFL team, and they'll come out and they'll win the game. I've never heard Buffalo media or fans in general just call a game before it even started like they did last week. I swear to God, I can't remember if it was it's on WGR. It's one of the main guys, and they're a mainstay in Buffalo, so they don't need to say things that are like salacious so people watch them. They kind of say it how it is because they got the viewers, and they don't need that extra nonsense to attract people. They can just tell it like it is. And I've never heard them outright claim a win before the game ever. I've never heard not one of those guys do that. And for whatever reason, last week they're like, "I'll see you guys on Monday." And on Monday, well, it'll be after a Buffalo win because look at their opponent. And it was just that to me sealed it. The team, the fans, the team hears what the fans is saying. The team, it gets in their heads. Like I said, they're not out there listening to every single thing and taking it all to heart. But when you continuously hear that you're great, you're amazing, you're going to crush this team, it gets into your head regardless of if you mean to or not. And I think that's what happened last week. And I think as long as we stay hungry and we keep it, we realize that every NFL team should not be overlooked. And I think we'll come out with the win easily this week.
I think you're right. I think it's literally just a matter of not overlooking any team from here on out. I want you to play every game like it's the Super Bowl. I want you to play every game like it's lose and go home, because at some point it's going to be. And now we're in the back half of the season. It's time to get in that mindset. It's time to just go out there and I will rip the W from your hands kind of deal. Like, stop taking people lightly. Here's the thing. I want to say this about CJ's comment, and then I'll pass it off to you guys to give us your answer to this question. It has been a long time before we've had a team that had expectations this high. I think with that comes a lot of things. Even going last year's team, we're still the underdogs, right? We were still the ones doing the hunting. We were still hunting to get over that hump, to win that first playoff game, to advance in the playoffs, to be that team, to build up towards being championship caliber. So this season rolls around after you're coming off of an AFC championship appearance in which you get beat by the Chiefs. You come into the season with very, very high expectations, not just organizationally, not just within the fan base, but all the way through national media too, that the Bills are that team going into the season. And it's all we've heard since the preseason, all into week 1 and all the way up until now. Even after this loss, we're still considered the favorites to make the Super Bowl. Despite
we're just not 2-1 favorites, we're 6-1, right?
Yeah,
and we're tied with Tampa.
The odds have moved. But I guess my point is, because of those higher expectations, this was inevitable, in my opinion. And this was needed, not just for the fans, but for the players too, because all of our egos got inflated. I know mine did. I know the players did. Seems like the coaching staffs even did too, where it was like, we're better than this team, so we're not going to put our best foot forward because we want to save that stuff for later on down the road because we got a championship to go win and we don't want to put all that on film. That's all well and good, but it started getting up here.
That goes back to week 1, right? You can do that, but you got to win.
Yeah, because if you don't,
you have the Patriots a game back, half a game back.
Yeah.
If you don't do it.
So now you have to have the pedal to the metal for the rest of the season. And I don't care if the Patriots drop the next 2, you win the next 2, and you're up 2.5 games.
Right.
Don't stop.
Right. I mean, the Patriots have you still have both games against the Patriots, but my big fear about these games is when you have both games against the Patriots left, Mac Jones has had all this time now to assimilate to the NFL. And this is a problem that the Bills are going to face. And I mean, I'm not saying Mac Jones is great, but he's definitely proven to be good.
He's dirty though.
Who cares? I don't care.
I've never seen a quarterback do that before. Yeah, moving on. I had to at least mention it.
Noah, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go back to what you said, Paul. I get what you guys are saying with, the high expectations in the fans. Yes. But there was zero reason for them to lose that game last week. And the fact that they lost that game, I mean, cool. They're 6-1 Super Bowl odds. They shouldn't be.
No, I agree with you. Until they prove it again.
What have they shown? You lose to the Jags. You lose to the Steelers in week 1. Cool. You beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been terrible. You went into this year saying we have to beat the Chiefs. We have to do this. We have to do that. And you lose to Tennessee. And I don't care how you lost. You still lost. And then you go out and you lay that type of goose egg on the Jacksonville? I'm sorry. But if they don't drop 50 points on the Jets tomorrow, there's a problem. And that's what it should be. And that should be the mentality for tomorrow. You go and get that 50 burger. There is zero reason the Jets should be competitive in this game. And if they are, the Bills are not winning the Super Bowl. And God forbid they have to play in a wild card. I mean, if they don't get this,
if they draw the wrong team. If they draw a team that has
be
a very,
with
very,
the Ravens,
very
Raiders, Patriots,
all
those teams are scary.
That would whitewash our entire offensive line, and we'd be out in the first round, just like you're saying.
They let Josh Allen go crazy for the Jaguars. You really think they're going to be able to stop Calais Campbell if we have that line in the first round? I mean, if this continues and these struggles continue, I do not. I mean, playoffs are a different breed. Whatever, they pulled it out last year. But you're not going to win the game doing the things that they're doing. And as of right now and as it stands with the Bills, I don't see them getting past the wild card. Because if you get a team that has a good defense and can match up well with your receivers and can destroy your offensive line like the Jags did, they're not going to be able to stop it at this point. So tomorrow, they better go out and dominate. Period. You want to be considered a Super Bowl team? Show it. And that is by dismantling the Jets.
What team has shown it consistently every week?
In the AFC or NFC or both?
Both.
Tampa.
Tampa probably is one of maybe the Rams, but then they lost. So they lost to Tennessee, and Tennessee. I'm not gonna get started on Tennessee because I'll go for 10 minutes. Yeah, the Bucks, which
I don't
makes
care.
me mad.
I don't care. They have to do it consistently. You don't get by in the NFL by doing the bare minimum or doing 50%. You want to be considered a Super Bowl team? Show it.
I guess my point is like
There's a lot of parity. Yeah, I get it.
They're not though. They're not though. You can't run the football. Your offensive line got dismantled by the Jaguars. That is not your best. And you lost to Tennessee. And I don't care how they lost. They still lost to Tennessee. They had multiple opportunities in that game to put that away, and they didn't. And so far in these moments, I mean, to be quite frank, they have choked. I mean, they choked that Jags game away. They needed 8 to 10 plays from that offensive line at the end of the game, and they would have won. Or at least tied the game and brought it into overtime. And did they get it? No. They turned the ball over. You do not win in the NFL by doing those type of things. You do not win. You shouldn't be.
But they're 5-3.
They're 5. Nice. So is half of the teams in the AFC.
Well, I think that goes back to what
There's
CJ
only
was
4
saying.
teams in
There's
the
a lot of
AFC with
parity.
losing records.
Everybody's catching up to you. You can't sit back on your on saying we have Josh Allen and we have this great defense and everything's going to be okay. I'm glad that this week that McDermott called everybody out because it's about freaking time.
Yeah.
Everybody deserved to be called out for that game except the defense. I mean, you held them to 9 points. The defense did every single thing right. The offense, they were jack shit. I'm sorry. They were garbage. You put up 6 points against one of the worst, not even just one of the worst teams. This is one of the most uncultured, worst coached teams and one of the teams that gets the most penalties in the NFL.
Well, so are the Bills.
And that's a problem because you're not going to win the playoffs if you're getting 12 penalties.
Penalties were a problem. A problem.
But were they the Bills' problem or were they the refs' problem?
Damn.
I
hate when you're right.
That.
Because it's a little bit
I
of
hate
both.
that. That is a cop-out.
It's not.
It is.
The refs were awful.
They were. If you're that good, it shouldn't matter. Cool. You know, the refs, they did this in Miami. In that first half, the refs were screwing us over. And then they came out and just were like, whatever. If we get the penalty, we'll figure it out. And it was like they got a penalty in this Jaguars game, and the whole thing, they were just like, I don't know what to do.
I think there's almost a puzzle or a piece of like where you see like UFO conspiracy theorists like trying to put things together with string and things like that, you know, where things it's like penalties over here, Josh Allen over here,
offensive line,
coaching over here, offensive lines over here, and then you're going the loss in the middle, right? And then like that kind of thing, and all these strings tie together, and there's just this golden string that goes in between them all. And I think that's what happened with the Jags. Now what we need to see with the Jets, I think, and this is what I was hoping for when I was asking about offensive changes. Zach Moss isn't going to play. We know that.
No, he is.
He is planning to play?
Yep, he played concussion protocol.
Okay, well, I want to see
cleared
Matt
him.
Breida address. I want to see Matt Breida address, and I want to see, and I have been harping on this. You guys are probably sick of hearing me say this, but I want to see a running back hit the freaking corner. Like, hit the edge of the line and get there and be able to run past it. Run a freaking sweep and run past the end of the line and be able to get there, because neither Singletary nor Moss can get there, and it hampers the offense because the defense knows their only option is to run inside. Now, when you're running behind Feliciano, Morse, and Williams, that's one thing. When you're running behind Cody Ford and you're trying to do that, that's a whole other problem. Cody Ford will not be on this team next year. We can all agree with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he shouldn't be on the team now. I mean, I think
And
I
this goes
texted
back
in the
to what I
middle.
was saying. This is
put
on
this
Bean.
out there. Okay, but you said it's on Bean. You said it's on McDermott. You said it's on
I'm
Dable.
saying,
you said it's on Josh. You said it's on the entire team for taking it not too seriously. But I understand where you're going with your Bean comment, just in the sense of the fact that Bean maybe didn't get enough solid backup offensive linemen, but that's where the draft came in, right? They drafted 3 guys. One of them is already a starter. Tommy Doyle, we have no idea what's him, and the other one was claimed by the Eagles. That is on Bean with the Jack Anderson thing, but
I think that's pretty solid of a return, though, to get one starting lineman out of the. Like, I don't know how many teams even get that.
Right, I agree, and Spencer Brown looks like he's gonna be a dominant player. I mean, as long as he can stay healthy, because guys that tall have a problem staying healthy. But if he can stay healthy, he's gonna be a road grader and a pass blocker. I mean, we see it; it's already there. And if he's there and you can move Williams inside, then it's worth it. Everything that you have, and then you find your left guard, and you do it through this draft maybe, or you do it in free agency. But that was one of the things that kept them hand strapped last year in trying to get guys was the cap, and they were right up against the cap the entire time because they signed their own guys. And go ahead, Paul, because I can
taking Boogie Basham over Creed Humphrey looks like a colossal miss at this point.
Okay, but only to a point, because I mean,
who would you rather
have? But then you have the
Rousseau is an upgrade over either guard position.
I would rather have Aaron Donald over Sammy Watkins.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But
or Khalil Mack over Sammy Watkins.
But honestly, I think all those points are invalid when you look at we got 2, 3 maybe consistent starters out of 7 rounds or whatever.
Yeah.
You
know you can do this to any draft. I know I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking. I wanted Creed Humphrey. That's why I'm saying this, is because I thought that was going to be the move that we made. I'm glad that we eventually ended up getting Spencer Brown. That's not somebody that was on my radar. So clearly B knows more than I do. I'm not here to say I know better than the personnel staff, but I mean, hindsight being 2020, going back-to-back DNs instead of grabbing the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th best interior lineman, maybe that was a bad move. We all wanted to see pass rush upgraded, and it looked like they were firing hot right out of the gate. That's cooled off a bit, and now our offensive line is struggling. And they haven't played better. It's because he kept doing so many spin moves. They're like, dude, you got to learn some different pass rush moves before he lets you back on the field.
Okay, but he's gonna play more in the middle, with Zimmer out. We're gonna see
He'll
him
be active
inside
this week.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we'll see.
This is his chance.
Well, it's not his only chance. He's gonna get
no
Cody Ford amount of chances.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel that's a thing now.
Yeah, it is.
We should make that a shirt. Cody Ford amount of chances.
Cody Ford amount of chances. But I mean, it really is. I don't want to say Basham was the wrong pick. He could turn into, if you have Rousseau and Basham at your ends for the next 8 years, then okay, I'm good with that. And Basham turns into, I mean, it seems like Rousseau is going to turn into your superstar or your top end talent at end. And so if Basham can come in and be that just solid guy who can just sort of play it, and he doesn't have to be flashy, he doesn't have to do all this stuff, they can just sort of roll him in and say, take your 280 pounds and just hold it. I mean, it makes me think of Bruce Smith and Phil Hansen. I mean, those guys were bookends for what the defense was, and I'm not saying Rousseau is going to turn into Bruce Smith, and but I think Basham can easily turn into what Phil Hansen was, which is just a stalwart on that line who just was good. He made plays. You know, he could stop the run. He could rush the passer. And that kind of stuff. But the most thing he brought to the team was stability, and the ability for the teams to have to focus on Bruce.
So you're saying the best ability is stability?
Yeah, I am.
And
unless in like the offensive line
Helen
where
Keller
it
told me
doesn't
that.
work.
Yeah. First comes availability, then comes stability. So
I'm
let's
just saying they just better
let's do
kill the
predictions.
Jets.
Score predictions.
They better.
This should be good
Yeah.
9-6.
because I feel like we got it.
No, what is it?
I'm
22, 27. What's your number?
22-17.
22. Right.
No,
22-17.
I actually think that they're going to kill the Jets. So,
Yeah.
I'll
We just
go
lost
first.
CJ.
I'll go. Well,
That's
I'll
okay.
go first,
Oh well. Yeah.
and I'll say they're gonna get into the 40s, and the Jets might score. The Jets won't get more than 17.
There he is.
So, I think
hated
it'll be.
the 9-6 pick so bad that I left.
You missed my pick, so
9-6.
So
I got.
what's an actual score prediction?
no, it wasn't. I had a real score prediction.
There wasn't a real score prediction.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
They'll get over the 40s, and the Jets won't get more than 17.
Okay, give a number. Come on.
Okay, 42-16.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to laugh at what mine is because it's right there with you. I was thinking 43-17. 5 touchdowns, 3 Bass field goals, and you hold the Jets to 17 points.
17 points would be a letdown for me. 16 points would be a letdown for me.
I'm saying that because I think that by the end of the game, it's going to be 43-3 or 43-10.
And they're just going to put guys in. And
we're going to get a garbage time touchdown, and backups are going to be in on defense, and they're going to score. So that's why I'm saying 43-17.
52-7.
My guy.
I want it. I want my 50.
Want it.
Speaking
But
of
is that your
existence.
prediction?
Yeah. That's
your prediction. 52-7. CJ?
I'm speaking it into existence.
I love it.
38-13. Buffalo.
Okay.
So we're all saying the offense gets right.
And that the Bills cover.
And if that doesn't happen,
and that the over is solid.
I'm gonna next. You guys all better be here next
the
week
internet on
because
fire.
I'm gonna fly off the handle even more.
Yeah, we're gonna go ballistic. It's gonna be our most explosive episode to date.
You're saying if they don't score 52, you're gonna fly off the handle?
If they don't come out and dismantle the Jets and they look anything similar to what we saw last week with the Jaguars, I'm gonna lose it.
Okay, but one thing I will say about the Jets is their defense is not completely without playmakers.
Can you name one corner on their team?
They don't have Marcus May. They don't have their other starting safety. They have no Carl Lawson. No CJ Mosley.
I asked that question because I heard it
at least
on
he's been
WGR
non-existent.
this morning and nobody knew. They have Lamar Jackson on their practice squad, right? Like,
I don't know.
Did Lamar Jackson, the corner, go to the Jets? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying they're not without playmakers. They have some.
The Bills' offense is still better. So
I want no turnovers. I want just you are just driving up and down the field on them because that's what they should be doing. If this Bills team is supposed to be so good and they're going to the Super Bowl and they're 6-1 odds, there is zero reason why they should have any trouble.
Let me ask a question. If the Bills come out and they run the ball 40 times for 300 yards and only score 21, and it's 21-7.
Why did you only score 3 touchdowns then?
So that's not a success.
No.
Really?
You only put up 21 points.
350 yards rushing on 40 carries.
If you put up 350 yards rushing on 40 carries and you only score 3 touchdowns, like,
yeah, then you must have been stopped a bunch of times.
yeah, like you got into their territory and then the drive stalled because it was 3rd and 8 and Josh Allen didn't complete any passes on 3rd down. Like,
or they
would have
decided to run Zach
colossal
Moss, who can't get anywhere, who can't get 8 yards.
Then we're talking about Dable again in a play calling issue. Why are you running it? It's 3rd and 8.
CJ, do you think it's a success or no?
20. So did you say 0 points, or did you say 21
points? 21 points.
I said if they come out and they win, they dominate time of possession because they're running the ball. They have 40 runs for 300 yards and win 21-7.
That's 7.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. I feel like a win is success. I'm never going to be like upset after a win. But is it what I want them to do? No. I don't know if that makes any sense.
But we've been talking about the running game the entire year as being a problem.
Right.
Okay, cool. It's a win in the running game, but it's not a win overall. I'm not going to take a moral victory with this team.
It's not a moral victory. It's a victory.
It's a win.
Yeah. 5 goes to 6.
Oh, you did it by running and only got 3 touchdowns. Your average, if they do that and they average 7.5 yards a carry, then they must have been stopped multiple times because that's 2 plays and you already have a first down.
Yep.
So that means every 2 plays they're getting a first down.
Or it means there were 4 long runs. But guys, whatever.
I hate to.
Then that's even worse.
I gotta bounce. The kids are upstairs in bed. I gotta go tuck them in.
Okay.
Final thought though, before I let you guys close out the show, is that, man, I really hope that Todd isn't right. We see an overemphasis on the running game, because now that he says that, I'm kind of thinking that maybe we do see not 40 rushes for 350 yards, but they might force the run to get teams to play them differently in the second half of the season. And I'm worried if they try to do that. They can't do that. If they do that, they may not win this game. But with that, I'll leave it to you guys. I'll catch everybody else next week on our regularly scheduled time, Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Until then, go Bills, and I will catch you guys later.
Go Sabres too.
See ya.
Go Sabres.
I don't see them losing this game, whether they hand the ball off 40 times or throw the ball 57 times. It doesn't matter. I guess I just don't understand why Josh Allen throwing for 450 yards is okay, but running the ball for 300 yards is not.
Because Josh would have 5 touchdowns by himself.
Okay, so let me ask the same question. If Josh throws for 450 and the Bills win 21-7,
that's not good. Why are you only putting up 21s against the Jets?
Things happen.
That means that their offense, if they only put up 21 points, that means that they've gotten stopped multiple times by the Jets. And cool, they moved the ball down the field, but either Tyler Bass was missing kicks or you had drives that stalled and you had to punt. That's what that means. And going back to what you said, if they get to that mark of the 300 to 350 by having 4 long runs, then you take those 4 long runs away and they only actually had 100 yards rushing. That's worse. That's significantly worse in my eyes.
Take away that comment. Erase that comment. So the only way that this is a success is if they if they're in the high 30s, the Jets don't score anything.
There shouldn't be any reason why they shouldn't even get there. You want to be considered a Super Bowl team. You want to be considered this powerhouse. You're only going to put up 3 points against the Jets? or 20 or 3 touchdowns.
CJ, let me ask you: are they considered a Super Bowl team?
Yeah. Are they considered a Super Bowl team? I think that after the way that other teams struggled last week, if that didn't happen, I'd say we'd be in a different boat. But because we saw what we saw last week, it still puts us right there at the top.
I feel
yeah.
the same.
Okay.
I mean, that's my thought. They're a Super Bowl team. They come out of this game with a win. They're still a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
guess
trying
we'll
to
see what they
find a
do.
way to make it like not scoring that many points would still be okay, but I agree in that while a win is a win and I'll take a win no matter what, any way possible, it would be disappointing for them to just, I don't know, just not come out and blow the doors off them, because after a week like last week.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No. I don't mean to cut you off.
Just after a week like last week, it's if they don't come out with that fire and they don't come out blowing the doors off, then you question where the team is at mentally, I guess.
So what is truly an acceptable point?
Like
score?
what level?
Yeah, what's a truly acceptable score?
Anything over 4 combined touchdowns by the offense, I think, is what you're looking for.
That's acceptable to you?
I would say I would like them to hit 30, bare minimum.
Yeah, anything over four offensive touchdowns. Now, after that, field goals, whatever. But yeah,
I mean, the Jets just aren't good.
So 1 touchdown difference.
Yeah.
1 touchdown difference is acceptable.
I mean, mine's a 9-point difference, but yeah, I want them to hit 30 or above.
Yeah.
30. If you only have 3 drives that end in a touchdown against the Jets, I don't care what your time of possession was. You're not doing something right, in my opinion. You have 3 drives that end in a touchdown. That you're playing the Jets. The Jets.
Because it's so tough. Because you look at Baltimore last night, or I'm sorry, last night, and they had 1 offensive drive where they scored a touchdown. I think 1.
Right.
And that's
They're
crazy.
allowing 31.4 points a game. If the Bills cannot get above that, there is something wrong.
But that's an average.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they're allowing 31 every game.
Okay, their total points per game is 18 for the Jets, and total points per game is 31.4 for their opponents. So out of every single game, they've at least given up 31.4 points.
No. You don't understand math.
It's okay, yes, it's an average. They should still get over it. They are 2-6. They are 3rd in the AFC East. I don't care what their time of possession is. I don't care if they ran the ball for 350 yards. You should dismantle this team.
So, okay, let me ask. If they go out and do that against Indianapolis, is that okay?
Yes, if they win that game, yes.
If they win the game, sure, because they won the game. The Colts, to me, are different than the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets are 2-5. They have 158 total first down, 36 by rushing, and 107 by passing. They have first downs by penalty is at 15. Their third down efficiency is 45 for 101.
Where does that rank in the league? I mean, you can roll off numbers all you want.
Okay, let me pull it up then.
No, it doesn't matter.
It does, though. It does.
Because I guess when you're saying when you're sitting here saying the Bills aren't a Super Bowl contender, right? When you're sitting here saying that, and they have the number 1 odds in the entire NFL to win the Super Bowl, I can't put the two together.
For what?
I can't reconcile the fact that they're not Super Bowl contenders when they have the highest odds in the entire league.
That's odds. I mean, if stats don't matter, why do odds matter?
You're the one saying stats don't matter.
You just said it to me. You just said to me when I was going to pull up the NFL team stats that it doesn't matter. That's literally the words that came out of your mouth.
Because the stats that you were saying make no sense without context.
Okay. The Jets, let's see. The Jets have given up the fourth most in completion percentage in the NFL. The Jets have given up the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11th most yards in the NFL.
Who's given up the second most?
The Ravens.
Who's given up third?
The Titans.
Who's given up 4?
The Colts.
Who's given up 6?
The Chiefs, who aren't good anyway. Cool. The Jets are doing better than those teams. I don't understand why 21 points would be good with anybody. I just don't get it. If you want them to be Super Bowl contenders, they should go out every single week and show it. Or at bare minimum, they should do better than 21 points. 21 points is a very low bar. They've given their QBR is third most in the NFL. They've given up, like, I bet that's 11 again. The 11th most first downs. Their first down percentage is 5th in the NFL.
Okay.
So they've given up a first down 39.9% of the time, which is 5th worst. Cool. They have playmakers and whatever. They're still not a good team. I don't care if you're running for 350 yards. If you're running for 350 yards and only putting up 3 touchdown drives, that there's something wrong. That means that means again they stumbled in the end zone, or the red zone. This means another week of them struggling in the red zone then. If you're only putting up 3 touchdowns, and that's a problem.
Okay.
In my opinion. If they can't punch it in and they're struggling in the red zone against the Jets, that's a problem.
Fair enough. I accept your opinion.
Okay. Well, we'll see what they do. Hopefully they come out and kill him, because that's what they should do. That's what we should be expecting. Honestly.
I'm not saying we're not expecting that. What's my prediction?
Yeah, your prediction. I'm just saying. I don't know why you would be good with that. I don't know why anybody would be good with that. Cool, they show they can run the ball, but they show they can't score. That's what that means, in my opinion. That's what that means, period. If you're running for 350 yards and you only put up 3 touchdowns, that means, once again, you were stopped in the red zone.
So it's just
or there's a problem with Tyler Bass.
So it's just a new problem. That's it.
Yeah.
Because everyone says they can't. Everyone is saying they can't run the ball. So if they come out and they run the ball, you can't say that.
Yeah. Then that means that there was a problem in the red zone. And now the new problem is, okay, the Bills can't convert in the red zone.
Right. So there's always going to be a problem. I guess that's my point.
I think there's always a problem with every team every week. I mean, you guys talked about how every team doesn't come out every single week, and it's been obvious this year in the NFL, and the AFC's wide open. But I mean, if the Bills want to be in this elite team and be considered in all these talks, then you should not struggle against the Jets. You shouldn't struggle against teams. You shouldn't play down to the team's level. There was no reason for them to lose to the Jags, but they did. And God forbid they lose to the Jets.
Well, we always have the Sabres.
Who also lost?
Jets.
It is the Jets. Thoughts, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, you know, again, if they don't come out, blow the doors off, I agree. It'll be a disappointment. And I don't know. The way I view it, though, a lot of times is good teams find ways to win, right? And if we'd have pulled it out against Jacksonville, if we'd have pulled it out against Tennessee, you know, obviously, you know, we're not having this conversation. But at the same time, you know, you either want them to come out, blow the doors off, and look as dominant as they have in the past, or if it is a close game, you just want them to win the game, or, you know, decisively finish it out. And, you know, either way, I'll be happy with it, because I just think that, you know, again, in those situations where we failed in the past couple of weeks, if we can capitalize in those situations and we can come out on top, win the game, even if it's the last drive, I think that's a step in the direction that we want. And I think that's really all we're looking for right now, and step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's very valid, and really great points. Appreciate that. So any player you want to see step up, anything like that?
I'm with you on the Breda thing, but I don't think we'll ever get our wish. Besides that, yeah, I think this is going to be a Diggs day. I think Diggs is going to eat tomorrow, and I think that, you know, I know that's easy to say because he's the top guy on the team, but I just think that he'll have a good day tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Noah, prediction? Anything?
I just want him to kill him.
I know what you want. And you have any thoughts about the actual, you know, gameplay?
I mean, the offensive line needs to step up. I mean, if the offensive line plays like they did last week, they're not going to win. I mean, they're not going to win against any team in the league if you're going to give the defense that many chances to be in the backfield. And it's not. I mean, they could play, you know, the word the Lions and if they had that offensive line play, there would probably be a chance they would lose. So I think their biggest thing that they need to get together is that offensive line with Spencer Brown playing. I just hope that he is close enough to 100% with that back injury where he either can't re-injure it again, or he at least can get through the entire game, and then, you know, then he can get his rehab and do that. But if Spencer Brown goes down again in this game and we have to go back to the offensive line,
I don't see any way that you're forcing him out there against the Jets. So I you know what I mean? I don't see any way that the coaching staff would say, you know, go out there. If you're hurt or not, just do it for the team, especially against the Jets. A playoff game, okay. But I think it's safe to assume he's got to be almost all the way there if he's playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think if, you know, he's injured going in or he's not there,
don't play.
Yeah, he's not going to play. I mean, we saw that last week. They said he probably could have last week, but they didn't. And, you know, that goes with him being a rookie and that kind of stuff. But, you know, I'm just saying if that gets re-injured, like he does something, you know, he thinks he's fine, he's able to get through warm-ups, he's able to get through all that stuff, you know, and then he re-injures it, I worry about having to go back to that line because that's probably what they do.
Fair enough.
I really hope they play Bodker over Ford, though.
Oh, they will.
Or maybe make it a platoon. I don't know. But you can't have Cody Ford out there for 100% of the snaps.
No. Unless he's your sixth offensive line.
Right. Jackson is eligible. Maybe we can get him a touchdown, unlike Miami was able to do with. I mean, I know it wasn't a designed play to him, but still. Should have given him the touchdown.
All right, so let's wrap up. We already gave our predictions. We gave our thoughts on what will win.
Grandma thinks 35-12.
All right, 35-12. So we'll hold them to 4 field goals.
That's sure. I'm fine with that. I mean, this defense is a bend don't break defense. So I mean, if they're holding them to field goals, but they're not letting them score touchdowns, that's fine.
Okay.
Just don't let Mike White do what he did against the Bengals and Bears.
Okay. Sounds good.
CJ, you got any last thoughts?
I just kind of, again, I just think this is the statement. We need to come out and we just need to see some improvement. Again, steps in the right direction. That's all we need going forward. So as long as we get that out of this game, I'll be happy.
Awesome. Great show. Thanks for joining. As always, Gameday716 signing off. Noah, you got some last words?
Yeah. We appreciate you for getting to the end. If you made it all the way here, and as always, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side of a Bills win. Go Bills and go Sabres.
Go Sabres.